we're going to be treated to 2 different incarnations of the Doctor in 2023. David Tennant as 14 and Ncuti Gatwa as 15. But with these new arrivals imminent, it got us thinking, in an ideal world that will almost certainly never become reality, which other actors would we like to see in the title role one day? So with that in mind, I'm Ellie with Who Culture, here with 10 actors who should play Doctor Who but won't. Number 10, Domhnall Gleeson. Could it actually happen one day? Could the Doctor get the thing they've been aching for years? If so, Domhnall Gleeson would provide a great opportunity for there to be the very first ginger Doctor. Plus, he has a sort of quiet eccentricity that would be an interesting change from some of the more bombastic Doctors we've had in the past. By all counts, Gleeson would be perfect for the job, or rather, he would have been perfect about 10 years ago, before his star went on the rise and Hollywood beckoned. After a steady progression from Harry Potter to larger and larger roles, and then of course with the success of films like Ex Machina and the Star Wars sequels, it hardly seems like he'd have the time to devote to a full series run anytime soon. He's in constant demand in Hollywood. That said, if he were to clear his dance card a bit and make a standalone appearance in Doctor Who, perhaps as a ginger villain to really rub it in the Doctor's face, it doesn't seem like anyone would object. Number 9, Russell Tovey. Russell Tovey, the famed Alonzo from the 2007 Christmas special Voyage of the Damned, is an actor who has already appeared on the show, but would be a great choice for the Doctor. In this case, he seems like he'd be able to portray a Doctor that's much more human and down to earth than many of the incarnations we've had previously. His Doctor would be an oddball, certainly, but would also desperately want to understand the social interactions he has and make connections with people. David Tennant was one of the most empathetic Doctors ever, and people bloody loved him. Tovey has made quite a presence for himself over the years, certainly on television, but most impressively in theatre. He's also an RTD favourite, having worked with him on both Doctor Who and Years and Years. However, he's the total opposite of Domhnall Gleeson, in that he probably doesn't possess enough star power for the role. With Disney Plus, Ncuti Gatwa and rumoured spin-offs galore, it feels like the era of Doctors being relative unknowns is coming to an end. So for now, we'll have to say, Allons-y, Alonzo. Number 8, Hayley Atwell. Hayley Atwell is an extremely popular fan cast for the Doctor, and that's because she'd be absolutely wonderful. She'd bring so much panache to the Doctor, and she would be a joy to watch. And by all accounts, she's into it. When asked if she would ever want to be a companion on the show, she simply replied, "I'd like to be Doctor Who." Now that's the kind of confidence you expect from the Doctor. But unfortunately, like most popular fan casts, it just feels like Atwell is never going to land the TARDIS keys. Her ongoing role in the MCU as various versions of Peggy Carter, as well as parts in other blockbusters like the upcoming Mission Impossible sequels, ensure that she's always busy, so committing so much time to Doctor Who would prove a challenge. But hey, when the show inevitably gets round to the next female Doctor, we wouldn't be shocked to hear that Atwell's name is in the mix. Also, she has played various roles in Big Finish Doctor Who audio adventures, so technically she already exists in the Doctor Who universe. Number 7, Dev Patel. Dev Patel is one of the most underrated actors working today. At just 33 years of age, this guy has been in award-winning films like Slumdog Millionaire and Lion, mid-budget fare like The Green Knight and Chappie, and beloved TV shows like Skins. And yet his name is never really in the discussion when it comes to the best actors around. In a way, that would make him a perfect casting for the Doctor. Extremely talented, but not a household name. Somewhere in between Gleeson and Tovey in terms of popularity. Plus, he can also play intelligent and a bit eccentric. However, he doesn't seem like the kind of actor who's interested in flashy roles. He's openly shot down the idea of playing the next Bond, despite fans throwing his name around for Daniel Craig's replacement. And when you assess his filmography, major blockbusters and sci-fi are two things he seems to avoid, instead preferring dramatic fare that's likely to earn him awards consideration. In other words, it's difficult to imagine him battling a 7-foot slug monster in a Welsh quarry. Number 6, Michelle Gomez. How much fun would it be if the Doctor was an actor who had previously played the Master? It would be hilarious and just so confusing for everyone, and would provide some serious insight into the Doctor's psyche if they wanted to go in that direction. Michelle Gomez is an incredible actress, and it's easy to imagine her bringing as much delightful madness to the table as the Doctor as she did with the Master. The same goes for Sacha Dhawan and John Sim too, to be honest. It would also be really interesting if they brought back an old character who interacted with her as Missy, and have her trying to convince them that she's not evil. It's easy to imagine that being one of the funniest storylines in the history of the show. Number 5. Natalie Dormer. Natalie Dormer is stunningly beautiful, and yet there's something off-kilter about her that would make her a great choice to play up the alien side of the Doctor. She has an illustrious television career, having starred in shows like The Tudors and Game of Thrones, but doesn't seem to be at the point where she's only interested in working in film, which has kept other high-profile actors from taking on the role. Like Atwell, she's also open to playing the Doctor, stating that all it would take is the right script. And assuming that RTD sticks around for the 16th Doctor and beyond, script quality certainly won't be an issue. Dormer is also one of those people that, like Matt Smith, feels a great deal like the Doctor in real life. So, will it happen? Well, since she's on this list, our gut feeling is no. But hey, never say never. Number 4. Ben Whishaw. Though he's usually viewed as quirky and little else, Ben Whishaw is certainly an accomplished enough theatrical actor to take on the role of the Doctor. But that quirkiness would also come in handy too. You'd only need to see his past performances in films such as Skyfall and television shows like The Hour to know that he'd bring a certain intelligence to the wild-eyed alien. But while he's qualified for the role, is it a character he'd want to play? He has gone on record saying, "It's not going to be me, but I don't mind. I don't think you can be Q and Doctor Who. It would be a bit wrong." There's a lot of different ways you can read that though. He may indeed be uninterested in the role, in which case it's unlikely he'll ever be the Doctor. He might also be playing coy. In any event, the comment was 10 years ago, and things can change. That said, it feels like the time for Whishaw to have played the Doctor has been and gone. Plus, selfishly, we want him to keep churning out those Paddington movies because, oh boy, those things are gold. Number 3. Hannah Waddingham. Hannah Waddingham has shot to stardom following her Emmy-winning role in the brilliant Ted Lasso. She's also had roles in various popular shows over the years, including Sex Education, Benidorm, 12 Monkeys, and of course, as the Shame Nun in Game of Thrones. Plus, she has a unique, bright personality that shines through both on and off screen. Another reason that she would make a wonderful Doctor. Her performance as Rebecca Welton in Ted Lasso highlights her sharp comedic timing, but it also showcases her remarkable acting abilities in those darker, more serious scenes as well. But while this casting would be a huge win for Doctor Who, and me personally, it's also massively unlikely. With the direction that Waddingham's career is soaring in right now, it would seem that her star is shining far beyond the reach of the show. Those iconic Hollywood hills are calling her name as she prepares to star in blockbuster movies alongside the likes of Tom Cruise, Chris Pratt, and Ryan Gosling. But hey, as is the case with everyone on this list, there's always the possibility of her making a one-off appearance in the show. Just imagine her as a supervillain or some other powerful figure. Number 2. Colin Morgan. Colin Morgan is one of those actors who has an otherworldly presence, one that would make him a solid pick for the Doctor. If we look at his past performances, you can see elements that would lend themselves to playing a Time Lord. Back when he was on Merlin, he was a young man coming to terms with his magical powers, and eventually grew into a character who was very much wise beyond his years. His role in Channel 4's Humans, as a person with a bionic brain, showed his ability to completely lack a connection with the people around him, both struggling to relate to them and not really sure why he even needs to. In a lot of ways, Colin Morgan's Doctor would be one who is more distant and obviously non-human than any have been for a while. Also, there's something to be said for carrying on the tradition of having the new Doctor appear in the show as a different character before taking on the lead role. And we've seen Morgan in the classic 10th Doctor episode, Midnight. Is he likely to be cast as the Doctor anytime soon? No, but we'd be very excited if he was. Number 1. Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen is one of the most common fan casts whenever a regeneration rolls around, and his roles alongside the 10th and 14th Doctor David Tennant in Good Omens and Staged only increase the desire to see him make the jump to the Whoniverse. Of course, Sheen has already appeared in Doctor Who. He was the voice of the malevolent entity House in the 11th Doctor episode The Doctor's Wife. But since he was totally unrecognisable in the role, there are many people who don't even know that's him, and it would be great to see him land a proper on-screen on-screen gig in the show. He's got the charm, the eccentricity, the overwhelming Britishness, and a strong track record of playing quirky characters. He's also got terrific dramatic chops too. His underrated turn as Leeds United manager Brian Clough is one that deserved more awards recognition than it got. But sadly, Sheen as Dr. 16, rhyme totally intended, just doesn't seem likely. At 54 years old, he's well out of the age bracket the show seems to be heading in with its trendy younger cast, and it's hard to shake the feeling that his time has passed. Still, he does find all the Doctor Who fan casts incredibly flattering, so it seems like he'd be open to appearing in the show even if the starring role is never ultimately his. And that concludes our list. Let us know your fan castings of the Doctor in the comments down below. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe and tap that notification bell so you never miss a Who Culture video ever again. Also head over to Twitter and Instagram to follow us there, and I can be found across various social medias just by searching Ellie Littlechild. I've been Ellie with Who Culture, and in the words of River Song herself, goodbye, sweeties.